Hey everyone, it's me, Kami again, bringing you the samurai review that I promised to do like weeks ago. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm gonna start off with a little disclaimer. I did all this pre-Shadowkeep, so what I was doing was I was getting through Stormblood, because how I did it was that I picked each job from the trailer that was announced. That being said, there isn't going to be any Shadowkeep. What the fuck am I talking about? Did I say it wrong? Why am I thinking about Destiny? Anyway, yeah, so Shadowbringers content is not going to be in here. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I just got to Shadowbringers. So yeah, it's not going to be a complete review, or at least it's not going to be a complete review in the story for the class itself, but I just thought that would be a good reminder for you guys, just in case you think I missed something. And I'm trying to cover my bases as much as I can. Alright, since I spent 2 minutes already on that long ass intro, yes, welcome to the samurai review. It's a very cool weapon to play with. Obviously it's a katana. You know, you're a samurai. It's just a katana. It's nothing really like grandiose, but the job itself is cool to play. So you actually feel like a samurai when you actually do all the moves and stuff like that. Talking about moves, I'm going to show you a little bit of how the rotation works and how you do attacks, so on and so forth, because it's a very simple job, but it is hard to master. So yeah, we'll go to Kalusia. Okay, so we're here. I'm gonna explain to you the rotation. I'm gonna explain to you the rotations for samurai or basic attacks. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because it's like a whole thing of its own, but I'll go into the things that I think are important to know about samurai. I guess I'll tell you like almost everything. Now again, I'm not a master of samurai, but I did use the job quite a bit. So if I don't get everything, I'm sorry. Anyway, so how this job works, the gauge here that you see on the screen, there's like 3 different hilts, I guess. It's called a Senki gauge or a Sen gauge. I forgot what it's really called. What that does is that it powers up your attack. So the first one I'm going to do is Yukikaze. Some of them are 2-turn attacks, and some of them are 3 turns. So Yukikaze is a 2-turn. You always have to use a kaze for everything. And this is the Gecko one. The Gecko one is Hakaze, Jinpu, and Gecko. So that's the 3-turn attack. And then you go into Kasha, which is also a 3-turn. So once you have all 3 of them, and after you finish up that, you can do a special attack, which is what that essentially does is that it does like an ultimate attack where you do a ton of damage. So as you're doing that, you can see under in the sword it fills up a gauge for your actual katana. So you do this and it's 5. Yukikaze is I think 15 or 10. No, it's 15. Okay, so yeah, so what that does is, oh, I got the name wrong too. It's a Kenki gauge. Leave it to me to fuck something up. Anyway, yeah, so as you do these attacks, you also fill up your katana gauge too. So you can see I'm already up at 65. So we'll fill that up to 100 and I'll show you what everything does. Once you have Yukikaze, right? You can also do an attack. It's not as potent, but it does damage over time. So there you go. So that's one attack you can do with one Senki or Kenki gauge. If you do 2 Genki gauges, it will do this. And what it does is you have a cone attack. So if you have like a pair of enemies or something, you want to just keep going at them, you could just use that and strike multiple people in a cone, which is pretty cool. And obviously the 3 Kenki gauge is the Midare that you saw earlier. So that's how the Genki gauge works. As for the sword itself, you fill up attacks and you can do multiple, I guess you could do multiple attacks as well. They don't deal that much, but for example, you can increase your weapon skill by 50% or the potency by 50%. So that will take 20 off my sword, as you can see here. You can also do Q10, which takes 25, but it does a cool spin sword kick thing that attacks in a circular motion. So that's pretty cool. You can also use Yaten and Gyoten, which what these do are it puts space between you and the enemy, and the second one brings you forward to the enemy. So very useful for when you want to evade certain attacks or enemy AoEs. Later on, I think level 62, you get Shinten, which does a 320 attack. It's basically like a weapon skill, I think it is, or ability. Yeah, it's an ability that does quite a bit of damage, more than usual. And later on, you just keep getting more stuff to add to attacks. So that's why I like this job and specifically. The more you level it and the more you unlock skills, the more you can combine certain skills and do massive damage to anything. There's a lot of abilities that have to deal with the Genki gauge, the sword gauge, as I was saying before. There is also crowd control, or crowd abilities or weapon skills that you can use. There is it's similar to the Genki gauge, how you fill it up. It's gonna be the same thing. I would say it's a bit faster if you're like in a crowd and there's a lot of enemies, or if you're in like a raid or something. It doesn't really work very well when you want to do damage to one specific enemy, but it does help you fill your Genki gauge a lot faster. So how you do this is you go into Fuga and then Mangetsu, and it fills your Gecko, or fills your moon thingy up. You go into Fuga again, and then you press the Oka. That's Mangetsu. That's not what I wanted to do. Then you press this, and there you go. You have two of them. Obviously, I already had Yukikaze, so I could just easily do that. But either way, you could use, for example, you could do Fuga, Mangetsu, then Fuga again, and Oka. And I have my two there set. And you could just do Yukikaze, which is only a 2-step. And it isn't that far. And then you go. You got Midare. So it doesn't do a lot of damage because obviously it wasn't meant. And if you look at the really attack base, it says dealing damage to enemies like in a cone. For the first one, second one is 200. So it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does help fill your Genki gauge, which is what you kind of want if you really want to do a lot of damage. But I would just say stick to the same formula that I was saying before. Just do these attacks because they do a lot of damage on their own. Like if you pair them up together, they do quite a bit of damage, which is what you want in a boss scenario. If you're in a crowd, obviously use Fuga, because it would benefit you more that way. But at the end of the day, it's how you use it that really counts. I personally love this job and what it does. There's another attack too that you can either aggro the enemy by doing this. I don't know why you would want to do that. You're not a tank. Well, I mean, I pretend to be a tank in this too, so but yeah, I think that is basically it. Like I said, I'm not gonna go too much into the level 60, level 70 abilities because I think they are better off for you to experiment with, and I would have to waste so much time just going over what each does, because you can pair them up with other previous weapon skills. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of it. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to the thing I was saying before. So story. Alright, as I expected it, story for the samurai job, quest, line, mission, I don't know what to call it. But anyway, the story for it was pretty cool. I did expect the outcome, and it wasn't very like special or anything like that, but it, you know, it did the job. It wasn't like, get it, job. Oh, it wasn't too intriguing. But the whole story with the Musasai, the other guy, I forgot his name, and Makoto, like, they were pretty cool. I did think it was a little dragged out. There were some fetch quests, and by fetch quest I mean going around everywhere, which I didn't like very much. But in itself, it was a very samurai story. If you watch samurai movies before, like those old Japanese samurai movies, you'll know what I mean by that. There's not really much to say, honestly. Like I said, I haven't finished it because I just got to Shadowbringers. But the whole fight with what was his name again? The whole fight with that Rogadin guy was pretty cool. I actually did like it. I actually had to do it like 3 times because I am an idiot and I didn't know how to use samurai very often. Or rather, I didn't know how to use samurai very efficiently. So I was getting my ass kicked by this really big guy with a sword. Another fight was the end, the ending fight with Makoto's brother, who is, you know, technically the big bad guy. It's a whole interconnected thing with some characters, and I did enjoy it. I'm trying to not spoil too much. If you play the story, you'll see what I mean in its entirety. Up until the point where I couldn't progress any longer, at least in Stormblood. It was a little boring at first, but it does pick up quite a bit in at least until Stormblood ends. So I am definitely looking forward to finishing this story in Shadowbringers. And talking about Shadowbringers and progressing, I guess the level caps were, I think, 50, 60, 62. You know how they stop it in between. It does pick up after 50. That is my final thoughts on that matter. That they do pick up in the story, and obviously with each time you level up to do a job quest, it gives you a skill, I believe. And the armor sets are actually pretty cool for samurai. So that is the other good thing about the job. So overall, my opinions on samurai as a class is, hey, it's pretty good. What am I gonna rate this? I don't know if I'm gonna do a rating system for this series, but if I would rate it, I would give it a no honor out of 10.
You have no honor.
That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. This is my first really serious video on this channel, I think. So leave a like if you thought it was informative, or if you just enjoyed me talking, which, man, that's a first. Comment if you have any thoughts. I would appreciate some feedback for next time. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't, so you can keep up to date with more of these, because I'm definitely gonna keep reviewing these jobs for Final Fantasy XIV. Anyway, that's it from me. You have yourself a good day, and yeah, I'll see you next time.